Thank you. Good evening to you all. My name is Emmanuel Mintah-Benyin from Ghana. I'm a medical doctor and I work with Ghana Port and Harbour Authority in Ghana. I'll be doing a presentation on assessment of work-related low back pain disorders among heavy equipment operators at Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, TEMA. This topic was chosen as a result of personal experience. I was put on a committee for a staff who was reporting to the hospital with a lot of excuse duties. And he was a pilot, a ship pilot. And there was one incident, he didn't go to work and there was an accident with one of their tugboats. So we're made to investigate to establish the veracity of his excuse duty and also his misconduct. And I had the opportunity to be on the board. So I got the idea from this to research into this to find out if low back pain can contribute to such behaviors. So I did this topic during my master program at the University of Ghana. My presentation will follow this outline. Background of the study, program statement, significance of the study, the method of data collection, some ethical consideration, and we'll discuss my findings. Low back pain is the most common cause of musculoskeletal disorders related to work status and condition. And it is estimated that as much as 80% of the general population will experience a back problem at some time in their lives. Low back pain is a multifactorial disease, and many risk factors may contribute to its development and processes. BBR also indicated that heavy equipment operators are exposed to prolonged sitting, whole body vibration, and repetitive movement of the body parts, putting them at higher risk of developing low back pain. These figures show the spine from L5, and I'll use that to describe the borders of the lower back. So the borders of the lower back is from the upper rim of the pelvic girdle, which is around L5 of the spine, to the coccyx, which is around the inferior gluteal fold. And some of the disorders or the pain comes as a result of degenerated disc, bulging disc, herniated disc, and also thinning of the disc. And you can have disc degeneration with osteophyte formation, which usually results in what we call spondylosis. Some of these disorders actually compress on the nerve, and it presents as pain in the lower back. Problem statement: statistics from 2019 Global Burden of Disease rank low back pain as the fourth leading contributor of overall disease burden among working class. And low back pain from Chu Ita stated that enormous workers' absenteeism, which causes significant economic burden to individuals and their families and society, because as a result of the pain, they do not go to work, or sometimes they are even sacked from work and they lose their common source of living. Worldwide, low back pain results in decreased productivity and imposes enormous cost upon patients, family, society, industry, and the government. And several studies have been carried out in Europe to evaluate the social and economic impact of low back pain. In the United Kingdom, low back pain was identified as the most common cause of disability in young adults, with more than 100 million working days lost per year. Until 10 years ago, it was largely thought of as a problem confined to the Western countries. But some systematic review of 27 epidemiological studies across Africa showed that there is little difference in the prevalence of low back pain among Africans as compared to the developed countries, with prevalence between 28% to 74%, sorry. At GPHA, the job of heavy-duty equipment operators is mechanical in nature and involves operation of heavy machines that comes with postural challenges. Such jobs that are mechanical have been linked with low back pain. And there were also unconfirmed reports of absenteeism so the study decided to look into it to recommend measures to these occurrences. The significance of this study will add on to literature on work-related low back pain among heavy equipment operators in Ghana and extend to other countries. And this will serve as a groundwork for future studies on the subject. Findings from the study will also inform management of GPHA to form and policymakers, interested private organizations, and general public on the factors contributing to development of work-related low back pain among heavy equipment operators. And it will also encourage the Ghana Health Service towards adoption of development of standardized occupational health policies, including periodic screening, task assignment, ergonomic policies in various institutions to enhance the uniformity of care in the country. And it will also unveil the knowledge practice gap in work-related back pain management with the aim of demonstrating the need for revise or expand work-related pain management course in occupational health and safety curriculum. The objectives of the studies were general objectives to assess the prevalence and associated factors of work-related low back pain disorders among heavy equipment operators at Ghana Port and Harbour, TEMA. And the specific objectives were to determine the prevalence of work-related low back pain disorders among heavy equipment operators, and to also determine the factors associated with work-related low back pain, and to assess the association between work-related low back pain disorders on job performance among heavy equipment operators, and to investigate the association between work-related low back pain disorders on absenteeism among heavy equipment operators. This was the conceptual framework of the study. Low back pain can be explained by several factors from the conceptual framework, ranging from job-related factors, such as job type and job tenure, as well as factors including whole body vibration, individual factors, and awkward posture. Low back pain may be higher among those with excessive job demands, and workers who have some flexibility with regards to job tenure and target to be met at workplace may have varied experiences of low back pain. Social support offered by supervisors, colleagues may influence the type of work one is assigned. And this can also have an effect on low back pain and influence the health of the individual. Vibration, including whole body vibration from operating heavy equipment, can also have an effect on low back pain. And low back pain may reduce work performance in physically demanding work area. Frequent permission to be absent from work may be common among heavy-duty equipment who suffer from episodes of low back pain. And some individual characteristics, including alcohol use, smoking, other health conditions may also contribute to lower back pain. The literature, low back pain is a major disabilities and high financial losses. A study on the prevalence and risk factors of low back pain among 113 Italian operating room health workers reviewed an annual and estimated view of the prevalence of musculoskeletal pain among professional drivers in 23 countries. Reported the low back pain was most frequently reported body region for all musculoskeletal pain, with a meta prevalence rate of 53%. Who use heavy equipment indicated that there is a significant association between low back pain and increasing age. In a much recent study by Don Ita, he found job tenure to be positively associated with low back pain. And they found that the longer a person works, the higher the risk of low back pain. A meta-analysis published by Siri Ita suggested that moderate high amount of physical activity during leisure time may protect against frequent or chronic back pain by 11 to 16% through posture improvement and muscle activation. The methodology of the study. The study area was conducted at Ghana Port and Harbour Authority Logistics Department at the Tema Port. And this department is involved in basically stevedoring activities. And this is where the heavy equipment operators gather before their shift, and they do their change of shift to discharge their duties from this point. And participant actual working area also was also part of the study, just for observation in terms of posture and other things. And this area is a restricted area for security reasons. And the 4 subcategories of heavy equipment operators included the crane operators, bridge stackers operators, forklift drivers, and Murphy drivers. The study was an analytical cross-sectional studies to determine both exposure, which is the use of heavy machine or operating the heavy machine, and the disease outcome, which is low back pain, simultaneously for each participant. A cross-sectional study was appropriate for this research because the study was interested in assessing the possible relationship between operating a heavy equipment and occurrence of low back pain disorder. Data was collected using a modified Nordic musculoskeletal questionnaire and other validated checklist tools. The sample size was calculated from Yamani formula, which is a sample size which is represented by small n equal to capital N, which is the total number of heavy equipment operators at GPHA Tema ports, and the number was 302 over 1 plus capital N, the same number, and error of margin at 95% confidence interval. So we had 172 participants to be added as the sample size, and a 10% adjusted sample size was also added, making it 189. So the respondents were 89. We use a stratified sample, stratified simple random sampling technique to was employed to recruit the required participants for the study. So we had the four stratified groups, the crane, race stackers, forklift, and Murphy. And allocation was done based on using population proportionate to size sampling. And we had 32 for crane, race stackers 58, forklift 65, and Murphy 34. And the final selection of participants into the study was done using a random sampling. The dependent variable was low back pain. And these are my independent variable: physical activity, BMI, working hours, awkward posture, and some social factors. The data was analyzed using status 16. Social demographic characteristics and other exposures were summarized using proportion, and the means and median for continuous variable were appropriate. The prevalence of low back pain was reported as proportion on 95% confidence interval. Factors associated with low back pain was assessed using chi-square test or Fisher-Exact. Job performance was assessed using a modified version of the individual work performance questionnaire. And this work performance or job performance questionnaire is a multidimensional scale job performance tool, which assesses individual work performance on three main dimensions, being the job task performance, contextual performance, and counterproductive work behavior. All items have a recall period of 3 months on a 5-point scale, 1 being seldom and 5 being extreme. Absenteeism was evaluated using a self-developed questionnaire by the help of my supervisor. And strength of association was determined using univariable and multivariable logistic regression. For all analysis, p-value less than 0.05 was considered as statistically significant. Ethical consideration, ethical clearance was from Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research Board and the GPHA HR unit. Informed consent was obtained from all participants, and the anonymity and confidentiality of participants were assured. And it was a voluntary participation, and participants were allowed to fall out at any point of the study. And possible risk and discomfort was also discussed with all participants. These were my findings. This table shows a descriptive statistics of socio-demographic characteristics of respondents. The mean age of the study was 38.3 plus or minus 5.7 standard deviation. And out of the 189 respondents, 62.4 were married, with 16.4 being single. Majority of the respondents, 92.9%, had some form of formal education, being primary, secondary, and tertiary education. And 97.3% and 63.7% of respondents indicated that they had never smoked or took alcohol, respectively. 69% of respondents had engaged in physical had engaged 69.3% had engaged in some form of physical activity, and 57.5% having their physical activities once a week. The median income of respondents was 1,800, with minimum of 750 and maximum of 3,600 Ghana cedis. Respondent BMI was on average of 25.1 kilogram per meter square, plus or minus 4.7 standard deviation. The prevalence of low back pain disorder among heavy equipment operators at GPHA was found to be 44.4%, which is quite high compared with other studies discussed previously. Low back pain within the low back pain, this table shows participant history investigations which were done, and it was shown that 54% of the respondents had low back pain within the past 12 months, and nearly 52% of the respondents indicated their inability to carry out normal activities at work due to low back pain. Most of the respondents, 60.8%, consulted a physician due to low back pain, with 7.9% indicating that they had some form of imaging conducted. And this table shows individual factors associated with low back pain. And from chi-square or Fisher exact of individual factors associated with lower back pain, it was shown that age of respondents was significant, which was p-value of 0.032. Educational level was also significant, which was p-value of 0.046. And their engagement in physical activity was also significant, which was p-value of 0.022. And all these were significantly associated with low back pain. And this table also shows relationship, job-related factors, association with low back pain. And from here, it was working overtime and awkward posture, which showed significant association with a p-value of 0.001 and p-value of 0.029 respectively for working overtime and awkward posture after a chi-square or Fisher exact test. From the social support, there was no association with low back pain from the table. And job surprisingly associated, but this could be explained the short duration of the study, which was between 3 to 4 months, so we couldn't recruit more participants. And also the study number, the short duration, as well as the sample size. The heavy-duty equipment operators were not too many. They were about 302, so we didn't get a lot of data and participants to be recruited into this study, which could have accounted for no association with absenteeism, as well as job performance. So from the study, factors associated with low back pain, they were adjusted for using a simple logistic in age significantly increased the odds of low back pain among heavy equipment operators with a crude odds ratio of 1.06 and a p-value of 0.034 when all other factors were adjusted. And the adjusted odds ratio was 1.06 with a p-value of 0.050. Heavy equipment operators who engage in physical activity also had a 52% significant decrease in their odds of having low back pain as compared to those who did not. Who were not engaging in physical activities, with a cruise odds ratio of 0.023 after adjusting for all other variables. And the adjusted odds ratio was 0.40 and p-value with a p-value of 0.010. And those who work overtime, which was also significantly associated with low back pain, showed that they were 3.56 times more likely to suffer from low back pain as compared to those who did not work overtime. And this association was still found to be significant after adjusting for all other ratios, with cruise odds ratio of 3.56, p-value of 0.001, and adjusted odds ratio of 3.68 with a p-value of 0.001. And workers with also awkward posture had a risk of about 2.7 times higher of developing low back pain as compared to those who do not, with a cruise odds ratio of 2.70, p-value of 0.020, and adjusted odds ratio of 3.51 and a p-value of p-value of 0.08. In conclusion, the study showed that prevalence of low back pain among heavy equipment operators at GPHA Temaport was found to be relatively high, and most heavy equipment operators of GPHA Temaport are exposed to work-related hazards such as awkward posture, overtime working hours, which contribute to the development of low back pain. Also, 1 year increase in age increases the odds of developing low back pain. And engagement here, engaging in physical activity, exercising, was found to be protective. And as explained earlier, there was no association between low back pain impact on absenteeism as well as job performance. And putting all the risk factors together, the study revealed that a combination of these risk factors would increase your risk of developing low back pain. My recommendation, authorities at GPHA were to put in measures, including ergonomic, changing task, and early retirement package for those who are at higher risk to lower their risk of developing this debilitating disorder. And there should be continuous education of heavy equipment workers on the benefit of physical activity and encourage them to indulge in it regularly. And there should be task rotation as well as shift work should be encouraged so that it will reduce the time spent in operating these heavy machines. And management should also establish an open door policies to allow staff to freely come and discuss their problems, especially low back pain, and how it is affecting and changing their lives. And periodic health promotion talks, as well as education program to sensitize the employees of GPHA on how to reduce the risk of developing lower back pain. And there should be an institution of policy and documentation by management outlining works related low back pain to seek early medical care to avoid this complication. Please, these are my references. Thank you very much.